What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Deal Flow Live. On this show, we look into all types of deals. We look at often live businesses for sale, sometimes involving real estate. And we've actually got a really extra special treat for you tonight. We've got Husain on, the founder of ROI Finder. He's going to be talking about real estate investment deals with his platform that actually specializes in being able to identify real estate investment opportunities. Again, I'm one of your hosts, Brody Vinson.
I'm your other host, Ryan Santor. I am super excited to have Husain here tonight and show this really crazy cool platform off.
Yeah, it's a really sleek, clean platform, and I think you guys are going to get a lot of value out of just seeing what types of opportunities you're able to find on it and how it's able to streamline the investment process if you are getting into real estate investing. So Husain, I would love to hear a little bit from you just about, your background, what led you to founding ROI Finder and how you got into this.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I'll go back a little bit. And thanks for having me, gentlemen. I was a bank manager for 7 or 8 years, retail bank management, and I hated working for other people. I'll be very frank, and I don't need to talk down anybody who does that, and I get it. Some people are comfortable where they are, but I had a hard time doing that. And so after a certain amount of time, I went ahead and said, okay, I got my real estate license. I got into real estate, and I was doing well at the bank. I was making a good salary managing, but again, it just wasn't my passion. What I realized was that real estate is. And so we're talking about March of 2014. I got my real estate license. I sold one deal to an investor that year because I was working full time. April, May of 2015 rolled around, and I was at my breaking point. I was like, I gotta go. And my wife supported me a lot, actually. She was 6 months pregnant at the time. So we've got 3 months till this baby shows up. I'm making, a good amount of money for a 28-year-old or 28-year-old at that time, which was 10 plus years ago, knocking on 70K. And I'm like, okay, with benefits. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to leave this and go commission only and go work for me. And she really encouraged me, really pushed me. With the baby on the way, I left the bank. And so I ended up selling to investors. I had to sell to investors because they were the fastest deals to get done, the quick cash deals. So now I leave the bank. I've got a little bit of money in savings. I got this baby on the way. And so I'm calling my friends who I know have some money. And I said, listen, guys, in my community and my mosque and my local community. And I say, I see there's deals out here. At the time in Orlando, condos are 20K a pop, 25K a pop. So you're talking, an ideal ROI, right? And what I realized that it was a very tedious process. So I'd go on Zillow or MLS at the time to find the deals, right? Which MLS is great, but then I'd have to go to an Excel sheet on the side to analyze the deal, send it to my customers. And you're talking about adding different, platforms and having to go to 10 different places in order to analyze your rental income. And I realized at the time that this is very tedious. This is a very annoying way to find investment properties. And I got these guys who all, a lot of them have their own businesses or they work for somebody and they don't have the time to seek out investment properties. And so they'll come to me as their agent. Time goes on, I keep selling to investors, and then the idea dawns on me like, there is a problem here. We have an opportunity, a gap where investors need to be able to find properties a lot easier. Instead of using 10 different platforms, one platform where you can find your fix and flips and you can find your rental properties and find portfolios and things of that nature, not to drone on and on. And so that was kind of the inspiration. That was the inspiration for ROI Finder, was to make it easier for investors to find these properties.
So it sounds like you saw a problem in the market. You saw a problem that you were having yourself, something that was causing you a lot of struggle, kind of holding you up in your process. And you decided you wanted to solve this problem by creating a unique solution with ROI Finder. So I would love to, see ROI Finder a little bit, dive in on it and just crawl around the platform a little bit and look at what it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll show you guys a little bit of what we got going on here. The beautiful thing about ROI Finder is there's a fix and flip category, a buy and hold, and joint venture as well. So if I can go ahead and present that real quick, we'll go from there.
Yeah, let's do it. And by the way, thank you for diving in on your story. I think one thing that really stuck out for anyone who's tuning in as he's pulling things up here is, he identified something about himself, which was that he didn't like working for other people. Not that that's the case for everyone necessarily, but he identified something honest about himself and decided to go take action on it, but in a very strategic way. And so I think for anyone who's in that position, who's thinking about doing something like that, it's good to be able to take inventory of where you're at, the skills that you've developed, and the opportunities at your disposal, and put together a plan and execute it that way.
Absolutely. Fear, and I know this is what you guys, I'm sure, talk about. And with Deal Flow, it's about deals. But thank you for highlighting that, because the one thing I've told so many people, I have a cousin who very close with, who lost his older brother. And so we became like brothers. And I always share with him that it's like fear, right? Fear holds you back. Fear holds you back. Fear holds you back. And so you got to listen. I get how hard it was, man. I had, maybe at the time, I was young. I was a little bit more risk take, I wasn't risk averse. I was ready to take risks. So my wife being able to, one who pushed me with 3 months to 4 months in savings, with a baby on the way, I'm losing my benefits. It's a lot, but sometimes you just have to, you got to grab life by the, and just do it. And, we don't throw shit at a wall and see what sticks, excuse my French, but we, like you said, you got to strategize a bit. And we make mistakes, and I've lost money and I've made money, but it's been a hell of a journey. You know what I mean? So 10 years, if I look back, I go 10 years. That's amazing. 10 years working for me almost. And it's a dream, man. We have our hard days, but it's a dream. But anyway, I'll go ahead and share the platform with you, but I don't know if you guys can see that, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's coming through clear on this end.
Perfect. So this is just the homepage of ROI Finder. So when you get here, as you can see, not to be cliche, but it's finding investment property made easier. This was the whole goal from the very beginning. It's for people who want to invest, whether you're a novice, whether you've been investing in real estate for a long time. You still got to go to Zillow and Realtor and find listings and call your agent. And if you have an agent, even better, call them. But typically when you're browsing for a home, you're still going to browse online and then send it to your agent. So the point of ROI Finder is go ahead, browse, find that investment property. So when you get to ROI Finder, you'll see the different categories of fix and flip, buy and hold, portfolio sales, and JV networks. So I've already got it preloaded here. One of the examples of a buy and hold here. The beautiful thing about ROI Finder is everything from the MLS in Central Florida and Tampa is already pre-fed into the site. We're already getting the feed from the MLS live. And then, not to bore you guys with the details, but there's a calculator on the back end, an algorithm working in the back end, which gets a rent estimate from another calculator that's out there on the internet and plugs it into the site. So as soon as you go to the site, it gives you an estimated gross ROI, an estimated net ROI, and it does the numbers for you. And so this is one of those things that my clients were like, how much am I going to make? How much am I going to make? And so here you can see that this property at 169.9, a 2-1, estimate rents for about $1,630, which is pretty accurate. And you're going to gross about 11.5%. And it shows you your net annual cash flow. Obviously, there's other information that you have to, input. So I'll show you the calculators real quick. And here's the thing is, we don't compete with the real estate agents. I don't know if you saw the agent's name, Joe Tardif. It says his name because we want you to call that agent directly and say, hey, we're interested in this property. We found on ROI Finder. Here's where it's located. Can you tell me more about it? Let me scroll down here. I'm sorry, guys. On my end, there's a little bit of a lag. So when I'm scrolling, it's doing a little bit of a funny thing here. But I'll get to the calculator in just a second.
If you want, I could try to share it from my end and see if that's
up to you. I mean, sure.
A little bit faster. Let me try that.
The cool things he's pointed out so far, besides the site itself and all the integrations that have gone into it to make it as accurate as possible, is that it is simultaneously supporting investors in the community as well as real estate agents in the community. So it's kind of it's a very collaborative and cooperative thing that you've built here to give everybody more opportunities to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm an agent myself. So, I didn't want people to compete with me, right? And so when I presented this to agents a few years back, the first thing I told them was like, guys, we're not here to compete with you. We want people to see your listings. We want people to call you because you guys are presenting these properties as somewhere to live. Well, no, let me present it as somewhere to invest in. You don't have to do that homework. I've done it for you,
That's awesome.
That's great. So it looks like I was able to get it pulled up here. Is it scrolling around well for you guys?
Let me
Yep.
Perfect. Now you might have to log in, Brody. It might ask you to do that. I don't know if you already did. If it's grayed out, you might have to create a login. But if you guys can see it on mine, I can do it too. Sorry for the complication.
That's okay.
Oh, let's show them the.
Looks like I
show 'em
can.
how easy it is to make an account on ROI Finder.
Very easy.
Yeah. Wow. It took less than 30 seconds, and now you're on ROI Finder. Incredible.
So let me go back to the homepage here. So what's the best place to start here? You wanted to look at a buy and hold deal, right?
Correct. So let's go to the buy and hold. Yeah. And then you can click any one of those. The 169.9 that should pop up.
You think this is a good one to look at?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a condominium.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yep. I'm gonna close this on my end.
Let me try refreshing here. See what we're looking at. It's just loading all the ROI, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what it's doing. Yeah.
Here we go.
I told Ryan, I said, as soon as we want to do it live in front of everybody, it's going to take its sweet time, but that's normal.
So do you want to kind of walk us through some of these key metrics and what we're looking at here?
Yep. So I was sorry on my end it was lagging, but again, so when you get to this page, it's live from the MLS, right? So again, we have that back end calculator, which throws in the estimated rent. So if you look at the key metrics, third one down, that comes in from a third-party rental estimate. So it's actually pretty accurate, right? So for 2-1 in that area, that zip code, yeah, that's pretty accurate for 1630 for rent. At the same time, it gives, if there's HOA fees, things of that nature, it'll throw that in there too for your overall expenses, okay? And it gives you a net monthly cash flow based on that. But the beautiful thing about this is, let's say right now, we're in a half buyers, half sellers market because, rates are higher, but we're not going down 10% in values or 12% in values, maybe about 5 or 7. So if you go down, Brody, and you'll see there's a calculator there. So we're saying that the price is 169.9. If you go to the calculator, you can type in that, okay, I'm going to pick this property up for 160. So it's very simple, very elementary. But the thing I hear the most from investors is like, wow, I like this tool. So if you type in 160 over there, your closing costs are estimated 3%. So that 5097 is already input there from the 169. But let's say it's $4,800 for your closing costs.
Oh, so let's see.
And then the rent, yeah, I think it was saying 1630. Yeah.
1630.
Mm-hmm.
And how about estimated repairs?
Yeah, so we could stick to $1,000 on the estimated repairs.
How about renovation?
That one looked ready to go, so I wouldn't spend much money on it. I'd say call it $2,000.
Nice. And then do I want to leave these the same?
So these are grayed out, but let's see if you just type it in. So the closing costs I put around 4,800. The HOA fees here we're gonna put the 600. And the annual property taxes. It's saying 1,000, but I would just say 1,800 because by the time you buy and sell, it's going to update and reflect. It'll reflect that though, obviously. And then the insurance. These are using insurance numbers that pre-hurricane. So I put $800 or something like that because it is a condominium at the end of the day. And then
how about
the vacancy. So some people calculate the vacancy as 5% because at 2-1 you're always going to be rented. So I would keep it at maybe 5% is fine.
Perfect. And then just hit calculate.
Calculate, yeah.
Wow. And then you get the estimated net ROI cash, and cash flow.
Correct.
Very cool.
That looks like a very good deal.
Yeah. So, it's not bad. I mean, people, some people aim for that. I've had investors who are like, I would never touch a 4. I want to be at 10. But then, you go to the bank and you're getting 0.10. So for some people, they would say, this is the kind of deal I would do, or I'd have to pick it up at a closing price of 140, and that ROI works better for me. And the beautiful thing though is that whether 4.67 for you is a good deal, like for Ryan, he likes that. As somebody who's doing this for 10 years, I'd say, well, I don't know if I want to spend 160K for that, but let me mess with the numbers a bit. Then I call the agent and say, look, I'm running the ROI, I'm running my numbers, and this is where I want to be for this. But the point is that